Now we are. Hello, Richard. How are you?
Colin, it's a mobile day today.
I like it, man. Nice big spacious sunroof. You can see that sky. Wonderful. Did you I have a question for you before we get moving on the Steelers.
Yes.
Did did you get your beard professionally done? It looks amazing.
No, I struggle with it every day, actually. Thank you.
Man, do you look like one of those skin models, Richard?
Oh, okay. So now I'm about to throw up. Hold
uh,
on. I just threw up in my throat. It's okay.
what do you think now? Kenny Pickett, he's going to be back if he is able to go. He's been cleared. He's going to practice this week. That said, it's a work in progress, I guess. We're paying a lot of attention to concussions, especially since the Tua stuff. You think he'll
Yeah.
play on Sunday?
Yeah. I'm actually hoping he doesn't, just for his own safety. I really am. I don't want him to push it. Because, when you saw Tua, I was actually watching the game when Tua was concussed the second time. And man, his fingers were frightening the way he was contorted and bent up, all from the brain injury. So I hope Kenny doesn't play, but only for that reason. If he is better and cleared 100%, then there's really, I read this craziness that's posted everywhere, and it's just crazy. Why would you not play him? I mean, that decision was made at the New York game. You can't change that decision now.
Yeah, he's got to play if he's cleared by the doctors. So that's one issue. The other issue is, did Trubisky do anything? Because he did for me in the last game against Tampa. He gave me hope and promise that if he has to play, they could do some things in the middle of the field and they could go ahead and they could be pretty good on offense.
Yeah, I'll tell you honestly, if Trubisky had played this way, what he showed us last week, if he had shown us that before, I would not have made the change, and I would have let the season just play out with Kenny getting the time as an understudy, because I do think that's invaluable, and I think it would have made him better in the long term. But he's certainly adequate. I mean, he certainly can do the job.
I still don't think Matt Canada is the guy. I still think that players are, when they have success, players are glossing over a lack of great coaching on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not no Matt Canada for me. But I'm like, tell me about our offensive line coach. Um, I don't know. Is it how you can't? It's impossible to have what guard, tackle, 2, 4, 5. It's impossible to have 5 bad players on the line.
Let me tell you a story here. This is something I'm kind of really glad you asked about this. So everybody makes a big deal about Munchak moving out and leaving, and the Steelers' offensive line nosediving in direct proportion with that, or at least in sync with that, I should say.
Right.
So Trey Essex, who used to play here, right? I had him on the show and I talked to him last week about this, and I said, "Tell me this: is everybody making too much of this?" He stopped me dead in my tracks, and he said, "No." An offensive line coach is the one position coach that's actually important in the NFL, and here's why. It's the only one that has that many guys that has to be working in unison, that has to work as a team in order to really, really work. So whenever you bring it up and people in the media bring it up and people talk about it and they go back and forth, I've been there. I know it. I understand how it works. You never can overestimate how important a good offensive line coach is. And that blew me away from a guy that won a Super Bowl here in Trey Essex.
Wow, that's pretty surprising too. So wait, so when Trey was here, who was his? Was it Mike Munchak?
It was 3 different guys. It was Mike Munchak. It was the one guy that went out and coached at UTEP. It was him. And he had another one, but there were 3 different guys.
It wasn't Russ Grimm, was
he
it?
had Russ Grimm, I think, his first year. Yeah.
Well, that's a funny story. So
yeah,
Russ, I apologize. Go ahead.
No, so I wanted to poo-poo this and make it not a big deal, and players win games and all that stuff. And he said to me, "So you're right in a lot of positions, but no other coach coaches 5 guys that have to be doing the same thing on the same page."
I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense. It really does. And that's where I think we should be looking. Stop talking about the two guards, the two tackles in the center. We got to stop doing that. And, a funny story about Russ Grimm was he said one day in practice, I guess they called whatever it was, the play, and all the offensive linemen stood on the line. And when the ball was snapped, they all stood up and turned around and did a little dance. And he was really, really infuriated by that. This is told to me by him.
Right.
And they told him, they were laughing because he told them all, I don't care about technique. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. You see that man behind the center? That's your guy. Those guys over there cannot touch your guy. No matter what you have to do, you keep everyone over there away from that guy. I don't care if you have to do a pirouette. So they did a pirouette.
Yeah, you do bring up a good point. We spent an inordinate amount of time and a long time talking about these guys. And maybe unless you're Hall of Fame guy like Pouncey or borderline like the Castro or somebody, he's not Hall of Fame, but he was very, very good, that a lot of these guys are of about like ability and they're all interchangeable, and how you can coach them and get them to do their job makes the world of difference on that line.
You know what I don't see a lot of, and I see it highlighted by the broadcasters even, but let's say they're as a group, but you can't be bad as a group. You're either as good or as bad as you want to be, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But let's say that you are, and where is, I don't care about one guy. Take two of them. Just take two players, two offensive linemen, and double team your best. Double team Aaron Donald. And you tell me two guys can't take care of Aaron Donald? I don't buy it.
Yeah, they can't block him. So.
Yeah, I can't. I don't buy it.
Let me. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Let me ask you if the property value of Mitch Trubisky went up or down because of something. Being reported halftime of the Jets game that Deontay Johnson came in. He was a little bit mouthy about wanting the ball. And Mitch Trubisky said, shut up and catch the passes that I throw to you and stop dropping them, and we won't have any problems on this football team. Good or bad move by Trubisky, who otherwise is generally very reserved?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's leadership. I think that, it's critical, but he opened the door because it's accurate. It's accurate. Didn't our guy just get $18 million contract?
I agree. And people praise Tom Brady for cussing out his linemen on the sidelines in public, not even in private.
He's another one. Well, he's another one. I have a whole lot to talk about him.
What you don't like Brady? I
think Brady's disgrace to his team right now.
Okay, this is a gigantic topic, and I'm glad you're talking about it. Is he a disgrace to his team? Because on the surface, I would absolutely agree with you. I think you're probably dead right. But could the organization be the one that has given him all this leeway and allowed him to have this wacky schedule? And they're more at fault.
No question. But he's taking it. So, and I don't know why they are. I really don't. I don't know why they give. Listen, it's not. So his wife says it's about, or somebody says, we create this media narrative that says it's because he wants to play football still and she doesn't want him to. That's hogwash. Have you noticed Tom Brady recently, let's say in the past year and a half, 2 years, he has really learned to like Tom Brady. And you can see that. It's obvious. It's obvious in his commercials. It's obvious in his demeanor. It's obvious when he was drunk carrying the Super Bowl trophy. It's obvious. Tom Brady really likes Tom Brady. And so I don't think that's the issue. My concern is not even a concern. It's none of my business. What do I care? But I don't think playing football was the issue. I think something in Tom Brady's personal life has created a divorce. You don't go to divorce court or to the lengths that they've gone through already just because somebody's playing football one more year.
That's a pretty good point, because his love affair and his infatuation used to be football. It was like a Sidney Crosby type
Absolutely.
depth that he had for that sport, that it was
Absolutely.
all he thought about, all he did. Like, he would be the first guy at the walkthrough, let alone someone that was flying in because he was at a wedding the night before.
100%. And how good of a friend would Robert Kraft be to him, putting his wedding on a weekend he knows Tom Brady's playing? Why would you do that to your friend?
Well, also, if he was such a great friend, he wouldn't have ran him out of New England.
Yeah, it was a very manipulative move. It was a power move. It was a power move by Brady. Or not by Brady, by Robert Kraft.
Yeah, so I can see your point. I really do. I blame Brady for taking the opportunity for sure. I don't think Tampa Bay is blameless because they allow the platform and allow him to act like that. Well,
Tampa Bay, I agree with that, and they did that by the 11 days he missed in August.
Yes.
That should have never happened. There's nobody else. Do you know anybody else in the history of training camps, your age or older or younger, that's ever done it?
No, Brady's my age. Same graduating year as Brady. No, nobody. If for health reasons, yes. Not just because they don't want to work. And this is the bare essence of it. No matter what you do, if you own a company, if you work, whatever, you're a foot soldier, whatever you do, somebody, and if this breaks down, we lose everything. Somebody's the boss and somebody works for them at all levels all the time. And that structure needs to be kept or it all goes to heck.
I mean, 100%. You get no argument from me. I was very disappointed. I always was a Tom Brady guy, and for the reasons that you mentioned, his preparation was second to none, and it was highly publicized. But now, you start looking for the flaw because he's really shown a lot, and it's not anything but commitment. So yeah. I don't know, but I think we played well enough to win. He played well enough to lose.
Man, I'm normally the negative one. I'm giving the Steelers more credit. I thought that their defense played pretty good and showed me a lot, especially with Minka being out and obviously TJ Watt being out. All right, this week at Miami, Tua's going to play. Seems like the exact kind of quarterback the Steelers have total fits with. I'd love to say I think the Steelers are going to make it back-to-back against two Florida teams and beat Miami. I don't know about this game. I think
if Brady was on his game, Steelers might not have been victorious. And I think that Tua will be on his game. And I think that as a passer, as a pure passer, he's probably more of a threat to us than Tom Brady was. He's laser shots with that football, and I believe that he can really hurt us. So I'm concerned about the game. If I had to pick a winner or a loser, I would pick with my heart and then my brain. My heart would tell you that I like the Steelers. My brain would tell you I like Miami.
Both my brain and, well, my heart tells me I love the Steelers all the time, but my brain tells me even with Najee taking that metal plate out of his shoe and allegedly being back to normal, he's just not the kind of guy that carries the mail. And in order to beat Miami, I think you need a 100-yard rusher. You need somebody to squeeze that game out. And I just don't think the Steelers could do it. I don't think, well, boy, that's two separate conversations. That's a conversation about Najee. And I just don't know what the heck to see there. I don't know. I mean, can I tell you what I think? I think it's becoming glaringly obvious he played on a college all-star team. And was surrounded by great players, and maybe his individual performances were pumped a little bit because he had 21 of the other best players in college football with him.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to dispute what you say. It is very hard because what we watch every week, we keep waiting. Like, where is this guy? Where is the guy we thought we were getting? And he never shows up.
I'd like him to. All right.
Well, listen, I think you're wonderful. I think that you have wonderful insights. Mine are better, but that's okay.
We have a better beard. I know that. It looks professionally groomed. Are you sure you didn't go to one of those places with a hot The hot lotion and all that they do.
If you know me very well, you'd know that I'm not letting anybody touch my face.
On that note, wonderful. Have a great week, Richard.
See you after the game.
See you soon. Bye.